From Careco TV, one of the longest running outdoor programs on television today. Exploring the country and the coast in search of adventure. From the mountains of the Great Northwest to the shores of the Atlantic Ocean, this is Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin. Welcome to Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin. Well, this week Wade Middleton tries out the latest boats in Ranger Boats Aluminum Series, the RP190. Then we join Yamaha's Steve Nessl at our Whitetail Diaries deer camp for his memorable hunt. But first, we meet up with Wade on the ranch for an early spring turkey hunt.
This year has been really a cool year to me in a lot of ways. The conditions on the range that we deer hunt and turkey hunt and do a lot of our projects on are better than I can remember them. I mean, it's just beautiful out here. But it's almost like spring sprung a month ago. I mean, it's like we should be in May, even though we're in April turkey hunting as we shoot this video right now. Everything about what I see out here is a month ahead. The way the birds are acting reminds me of what I see out here when I'm traveling around in May. I want a bird to gobble and come and strut and put on a show all the time. But I've learned over many years that that's not always possible. Their actions and their moods change as the season goes on, as the weather changes, as the conditions change. And you as a hunter have to adapt and adjust to that. And by nature, I'm an impatient turkey hunter. If I can't get it done in 15 minutes, I want to go find one that's ready to get it done. But I've learned over the years that as the season draws down and as birds have received more pressure and as things change, I've got to become a patient turkey hunter. And by becoming a patient turkey hunter, my success rate in late season has really improved. When I talk about patience in turkey hunting, there is no absolutes. Don't think that this is the only rule or the only law out there. That's the one thing about a turkey that I can promise you. There's no 100% rule. Every day is going to be different. Every encounter is going to be different, and you have to adapt and adjust. But some of the things that I've noticed, you can sit longer in one spot in the late spring and wait birds out. Maybe hear them gobble off in the distance and then create a plan to sneak up on them, or sit by a water hole or a strutting area or nearby some of the roosting areas and just wait them out. But when you do that and you go out at 3 o'clock and the sun doesn't set till 8:30, I believe there needs to be a national law that naps are legal. You can't tease a person that sits still for that long in a turkey lounger and not allow them to take a nap. But what you're really doing, in my mind, is you're listening for those birds. You're taking into consideration everything that's going on in that area when you pick that area, and you've put yourself in a position that's going to allow you to ambush a bird or soft call a bird in quietly by taking the time to stay in one spot. If you know where the hens are going, a lot of times you can figure out what the toms are doing. We use their scouting cameras around water troughs, around fields, and around areas we think that are going to show us some bird actions to figure out what time the toms might be there, to figure out what time the hens might be there. We've got one water trough this year that just had strutters by it time and time again. I mean, literally kissing the scouting camera, the stealth cam we had set up there. So we built little blinds and we would sit there, and the hens would mill in and out, get drinks, do their things. And occasionally big toms would strut into the same areas, and you had to hope they just got into range. You have to understand, the area and the roost, how to travel to get in and out of there, no flashlights type deal. Get in under the cover of darkness, but when you make that move and you get into the position to where you're set up perfect and you can see them off in the distance like we did on this, I mean, it hadn't happened very many times in my hunting career, and you hear them start to wake up and the world's waking up around you and they're starting to gobble, and then you watch that first hen come sail off and she lands out probably 150, 200 yards in front of you, and she starts working your way, and you have snuck in there and they don't know you're there, and you're on their travel corridor. There goes the heartbeat. The blood pressure goes up, and now it's a matter of just not making a mistake and getting busted as they work their way through. Smoked him. That'll work. He's just right over here. Oh, it's awesome, awesome. I love when they gobble and they come in, they do everything, but I love to eat them as much. We plain flopped this one. Look at the birds on that bird. Wow. Those are some daggers right there, ready for war.
For more stories from the field, please visit AmericanaOutdoors.com.
It's in our stomping grounds and our playground. It's in our sights and our commitment. It's in him, it was in them, and it will continue with her. It's in my nature. Is it in yours?
Introducing the newest member of the Yamaha off-road family. It thrives in the most remote, rugged terrain. It never steps down from a challenge and travels long distances in search of adventure. The all-new Yamaha Wolverine. It's a whole new animal.
The art of the hunt is not painted with a broad brush. Its eye is in the details. The note on the refrigerator, a set of broadheads, tried and true, the well-worn boots, soaked in doe estrus, and a Garmin Rhino, the only GPS with two-way radio. Prepare your measuring tapes, Pope and Young. It's whitetail season in Rhino country.
Nikon's no-fault policy was created for those who continually push the envelope, travel the farthest, stay the longest, brave the most hostile elements. We do our best to deliver on our promise of a lifetime of performance. And we'll stand with you should accidents happen. Trust earned. Nikon.
The thing about public land is that most people hunt the same old beaten path. The thing about you is, you're not most folks. Introducing the new TC Compass, only by Thompson Center. Follow your own compass with America's master gunmaker.
Since 1984, Sawyer Products has offered the most technologically advanced solutions for protection against sun and bugs. Sawyer Picaridin insect repellent is effective against mosquitoes and flies. It's safe on you and your gear. And to maximize your protection, use a combination of Picaridin with odorless permethrin for your clothing and gear. Sawyer's Stay Put sunscreen will keep you comfortable and getting better protection for even longer. You're already outdoors. Sawyer keeps you there. Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin, is brought to you by Garmin Verb, Life, Camera, Action. Cabela's, it's in your nature. Thompson Center, America's master gunmaker. And by Yamaha ATV, Real World Tough. Welcome back to Americana Outdoors. Yamaha's Steve Nessl is a frequent guest on the show. He often comes out to the ranch to field test Yamaha's ATVs and side-by-sides, and of course, for whitetail hunts.
I've had the privilege this hunt. I was out a little earlier this year, came back out to really, field test the Viking, Wolverine, Grizzly, Kodiak ATVs as we do when we have the opportunity to come to Brackettville or outside Brackettville. But lucky enough to go to the Haviline Ranch and really scout a couple of different places. Stands no one's sat before, and that can be a lot of fun. You don't really know what to expect, and sometimes expectations can be filled in the form of not seeing a single deer. But, you know, with this property, I've been over there enough to know that it's pretty game rich, and excited to try a few new spots and get some intel on the piece of property, and maybe lend a hand as far as land and game management are concerned, because I'm not the veteran hunter in the group, but I do like to lend a hand when I can as far as what's out there and what we can do to help manage. And putting the Viking and the Wolverine out there, the Yamaha product there, and have it help is a good thing for me. Well, we got over there the first day, and we sat at a stand called the Four-Way, and I've actually sat in this stand before. It's a cool spot. It's a box blind, and you can look behind you, out in front of you, and to the side. There's another. You can look down the left side as well, but there's a window 4 ways, right? You can see deer coming in all angles, and we picked the right way to face, luckily, and we saw you know, a lot of deer very, very early on, and heard there were some big ones coming in. You know, but it's a rut. And that's, you know, that's probably a really good point, is rut's unpredictable. And that's the beauty of the rut, and it's a reason a lot of people hate the rut. You can't pattern the deer anymore, but, you know, a big one that you've never seen before could potentially show up during your sit. So we had some high hopes for seeing deer, period, but also maybe seeing some big ones. And we saw a good one, a really good one, that later on came to find out was number 4 on the list. I thought he might be 4.5 years old, maybe as young as, he had a lot of potential, 3.5-year-old maybe, but, you know, another year, another 2 years, and he had just all kinds of character. He could be really, really big, and his body seemed kind of small. So big rack, small body, good looking deer, but, you know, number 4 on the list, glad I passed on him, and it was my first morning, so. We went to the evening hunt, and that was really, really cool. I'm going to a place they'd set up and no one had ever sat there before. And we were gonna overlook this huge expanse of land and see deer for, you know, literally maybe, you know, half mile away. We saw some really good deer way off in the distance, and the rut kind of put a damper on our hunt that evening, because the big ones were chasing does way far out. We had some deer in our setup towards the end of the evening, but we saw a fox that night. We saw a badger that night. We saw a bunch of, you know, good, gonna be better when they're older bucks come in. And, you know, being out when it's cool and starting to get cooler and just seeing game, it's never an evening wasted. So no big bucks on the first day, but high hopes going into the second.
Americana Outdoors is giving a white-tailed deer hunt in South Texas, guided by Americana Outdoors staff member Wade Middleton. This hunt will take place in December of 2016, just in time for some great rutting action in South Texas, and will be filmed for Americana Outdoors. Sign up today to win at AmericanaOutdoors.com. Up next, Yamaha's Steve Nessl spots a unique matured whitetail on Americana Outdoors. High-vis shooting systems knows that your shooting performance matters in all conditions. All high-vis shooters experience faster target acquisition with our durable light wave sights. Featuring easily interchangeable light pipes, light wave sights give your eyes the exact sight picture you crave. Shoot high-vis. See what you've been missing.
What I love about the Bradley smoker is that it cooks everything perfectly and it holds all the juices in.
So today we are going to be smoking some barbecue ribs, some venison sausage, and some dove, which is awesome.
You will never grill me doves again. I have to have them in the Bradley smoker. I would prefer to use the Bradley smoker every time I cooked. Well, that's really true because I love this thing. Okay. No lie. For more recipes, log on to bradleysmoker.com.
My secret weapon? Evercalm.
It's the first ever calming scent. It's real smells from bedding areas.
To deer, that means safety.
Evercalm reassures even nervous deer,
which can help you get the shot.
I use Evercalm all season long.
Put it on your boots, your pants, and your decoy.
It's stick form, won't wash away or freeze.
Evercalm.
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 From the Family Deer Farm at Conquest Scents.
The outdoors. It's been my playground for decades. I enjoy everything about it. Like me, I bet you also look at the outdoors as your own personal playground. And like me, I bet you're always looking for the newest challenge. So come join me in my Smith & Wesson Performance Center handgun and let's share a new experience in the outdoors. Performance when it matters most from the Smith & Wesson Performance Center.
Walkers continues to push the boundaries with innovations and technology in the shooting, sport, and hunting category. Introducing the all-new Razor Series. Maximum protection, industry-leading noise reduction ratings. With advanced circuitry, SAC, sound-activated compression circuit, true form, super slim profile. Reliable, dependable, comfortable hearing protection. Fulfilling and exceeding the needs of every shooter.
Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin, is brought to you by StealthCam digital scouting cameras. The game has changed. High Vis, see what you've been missing. And by Smith & Wesson, made in the USA since 1852. Welcome back to Americana Outdoors. It's day 2 of Yamaha's Steve Nessl's whitetail hunt, and it's a lot warmer than he'd hoped. The temperature in the morning reaches the mid-50s.
It was pretty warm, and we're in December, so it's kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. But we're not going to skip a morning. So we went out and sat on a sheep bluff on the property, and it's a gorgeous spot. And I love the ground. I love being, in a chair, not in the open. I mean, you're in the open, but you're kind of backdropping. You're trying to work it to your advantage so you can't be seen. And we're overlooking this little area, which is just gorgeous. And our shots are going to be anywhere from 60 to 140. And we've got what looks to be a horse walking through the setup. It's ridiculous, this huge bodied deer. He's got a rack on him. We can see he's got horns, and pretty good ones, but we feel like he might be broke off or something. Like, he doesn't come out as far as a deer that has horns and is as big as him, and he's a monster. His body's ridiculous. And he's rutted up, and we can tell that, but there are other deer in the field, and we can see that he's dwarfing these other deer that are around him. As it starts to get more and more light, we're looking at this deer harder and harder the whole time, and I'm starting to fall in love with his kind of what I call his crazy, freaky looking rack, because it just comes out and it stops. It kind of folds in on him, and I know that he doesn't have a ton of horn, but it's not a little bit of horn either, because his body is so huge. He's bigger than most Texas bucks out in this area, and to be honest with you, we're hunting a pretty good sized deer, and we haven't seen him. This guy shows up, and now we've got a decision to make. What do we do? Do we wait on a big one, bigger than him? Or do I start to, which is exactly what I started to do, I started thinking about what's a trophy to me? This deer is older. I got him at least 5.5, and I can't age deer for nothing, but I know he's at least minimum 5 years old. His body it's undeniably immense. He walked by another buck in our setup, and even though this is probably a 2.5-year-old, 3.5-year-old deer, he was about twice his size. And so I'm thinking, man, a good mature buck with a rack that every minute I look at it, I fall more in love with it. I think I want to take this deer. Unfortunately, while I'm falling in love with his rack and just him as a trophy, he's falling in love with every doe that's in and around our setup, and he starts chasing them. And I've kind of resigned myself to, if I get a shot, I'm going to do the best I can to take him out. But if it's not meant to be, because it's a rut and he's falling in love and he wants to chase a doe, then that's just how it happens. And at one point, he's literally a step, maybe 2 away from me from flipping that safety off and putting a shot at him. He's perfectly broadside, and we're ready to go. Guns up, I got him through the scope, and the doe catches his eye off the left. He turns, puts his backside to me, runs straight away, and I think that's it. That's got to be it. So he's out of the picture, but to make matters worse, a doe who'd showed some interest, I'm moving around, getting on the gun, trying to get a shot at him. I'd got the attention of a doe, and she, for some reason, decided to investigate. Came around to our left, came up to the base of the hill that we were set up on, looked up, saw me, stomped, blew, chased every deer but one out of that field. You know, it was done. There's turkeys around, but I thought, well, it was a ridiculously good morning. It was an awesome, awesome sit to be out there. It was reward enough, but maybe we'll sit for another hour. We'll talk about it. We'll see if that big one who's been coming in a little later, maybe we wait on him. I don't know. We're kind of weighing our options when something out of the corner of my eye. This is about 10 minutes later. I look down and there's our buck underneath a tree, scraping, licking a branch, and he's back. It's just him, and there's one other doe in the field. He doesn't have his doe with him anymore, and I'm thinking, if he comes out, wow, how is this happening? It was meant to be.
Here he comes.
It was a roller coaster, emotional roller coaster as it always is, but if it's not, then you probably don't want to be doing it. And he's down right where I shot him, and that's no tracking. Everybody did the right thing. We got a big, mature, big, mature, cool-looking buck on the ground. His body was huge, and his rack lived up to just the size of this deer. And he doesn't come out very far. He takes a sharp turn in, but the little claws and these dark horns, and he's got mass and tons of character.
This dude is a hoss. Big body. Cool old dark horns. And he just stops and comes out.
He's gonna be one of my favorite. So we used the Viking 3-seat side-by-side pretty exclusively on this hunt. I mean, we had it the whole time. Every set we'd take it out, and we'd either drive up to the stand, drop off stuff, and drive past. Because the great thing about how Wade's using these vehicles over there is he uses them all the time. So the animals are used to them, and that's really what you need to do. A lot of people will talk about how ATVs or side-by-side vehicles will scare game. Well, yeah, if they hear one for the first time in their lives. I mean, if I'd heard one for the first time, I might be scared of it. As far as the efficiency that those things bring to a hunt, we got in early, but we were able to stay way late and not get back to camp too late because we had those vehicles at our disposal. And the beauty of it is, and as we showed this morning, when we ended our hunt by taking this awesome trophy, is you throw the deer in the back of that, and it offers a ton of flexibility to your hunt as well. Doesn't matter what the weather, doesn't matter the terrain. We're saving wear and tear on ranch trucks. And it's the beauty of why they perform well in Texas. It's the beauty of why they perform well across the country and around the world.
Coming up next, meet the RP190, the latest member of Ranger Boats Aluminum Series. Stay tuned.
When you're out hunting, make sure you're carrying GroveTech. GroveTech is designed specifically for the rigorous demands of the hunt and sets the standard for strength and ruggedness when out in the field. GroveTech products have simply built the best tools for the job and are proudly made in the USA. Go hunt. We'll carry the gun. GroveTech.
Oh, nice shot.
You put the cool in life. We put the cool in coolers. Arctic ice.
Engel's got the original high-performance cooler and a whole lot more. Engel coolers. Go with the original.
When perfection is your goal, awards come with the territory. In 2016, 10-point and Wicked Ridge crossbows collected an unprecedented 5 Best-in-Class Industry Awards. The Reverse Draw Carbon Nitro RDX, Best Crossbow by Field & Stream and Peterson's Hunting. The Forward Draw Turbo GT, Best Crossbow by Outdoor Life and Game & Fish. And the budget-minded Warrior G3, Great Buy by Field & Stream. Regardless of the features you want or the budget you have, 10-point has an award-winning crossbow for you.
We're going to try out this new folding fillet knife from Bubba Blade on these big grouper. We're going to try to gut them and see how this thing works. Oh man, like butter. I mean, that doesn't get any easier. Golly, unbelievable. Right through like butter. I love the new gut knife from Bubba Blade. It's compact. The best of all, it's like a pocket knife, man. You just close that thing up and put it away. Love it. Great little knife.
I've been hanging tree stands all my life. All you do is put the tree stand up against the tree, inch your way up, hope you don't fall!
Don't be like this guy. Get a Skyline safety system. Have your stand secured before you step off the ground. Like this guy.
The all-new Skyline safety system is redefining tree stand safety by allowing you to secure your ladder stand to the tree prior to stepping off the ground. For more information and to order yours today, visit SkylineSafetySystem.com.
Stealth Cam. Proven reliability. Proven quality. Proven performance. Stealth Cam continues to push the boundaries of technology and innovation with its next generation of trail cameras. Proven performance in extreme conditions. Proven. Stealth Cam. Join the trail cam revolution.
Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin, has been brought to you by Stealth Cam Digital Scouting Cameras. The game has changed. Arctic Ice. We put the cool in coolers. And by Do All Outdoors.
You know, recently I was up in Baltimore, Maryland at the Inner Harbor for a Yamaha Outboards Marine Riders event. You know, in the past, these events have been phenomenal opportunities to go out and test different boat and motor packages, and this one was no different. There's a wide range of boats and motors there for everybody's, you know, boating and fishing needs, and you see the content that comes out of this as being very important to people that are getting ready to pick their, you know, next boat and motor combination. You know, for me, going to the Inner Harbor was something that was very unique. It's not where we normally would head for a type of situation like this, but to be able to test boats and motors in this backdrop was one that was really fun. And one of the boats I spent a lot of time in that I've got some history in is the Ranger Boats RP190. You know, I've fished out of the RP190, and it's a boat that I've always been impressed with on how it handles, whether I'm fishing or running around in it, calm water or rough water. And this is a boat that I think a lot of people are going to be excited about because it's going to suit a variety of needs from the East Coast to the West Coast, from up to Canada all the way down to the Texas border. We were running one that was powered by a Yamaha 115. It was more than enough power to get us where we needed to go. It would be the same situation for you guys out at home. This is a boat that's going to be set up for great saltwater fishing, red fishing, speckled trout, freshwater guys, catfishing, crappie fishing, bass fishing, basically any species that you want to use it for. And the RP190 set up like we had, it's got a lot of storage, it's got an incredible console, and it gives you the feel of incredible value for your boat with great features built in, such as very responsive hydraulic steering and a lot of little hidden amenities that a lot of people don't think about, like a great live well system, battery storage, and all the places that you're going to be able to set you and your buddies when you go fishing. So if you're looking for a great new boat and motor combination, get you one of these Yamaha 115s, put it on the back of an RP190, and I promise you, you're going to be impressed no matter what species you're going to be fishing for and no matter what body of water you're putting it on.
To learn more about the RP190, go to rangerboats.com. Hey, and don't forget to visit us at AmericanaOutdoors.com for in-depth stories from the fields. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Americana Outdoors. Americana Outdoors is a Careco TV production.